The seismograph records the earth tremors from both underground explosions and earthquakes. The seismogram shows the magnitude and epicenter of the earth tremors. The Public Health Service radiological staff and the Atomic Energy Commission conduct an extensive public information program to educate civic groups and other interested organizations as to the nature, purpose, and procedures of the Radiation Safety Program. This public information program informs the people in the vicinity of the test area of the objectives of the test project and its potential, probable, and actual hazards. They are also informed about the many safeguards and precautions designed to protect them from radiation exposure, and advised how air filters and appropriate counters will indicate any concentration of radiation in the area. The people are informed about the Film Badge program and shown other devices for measuring radiation in their vicinity. They are told about Geiger counters and other radiation detection instruments. All communications media are utilized: newspapers, radio and TV stations, and other communications sources. The public is continuously informed, to the extent of its interest, as to the operations and developments, and advised as to the success or failure of the project as related to its original purpose and justifications. Public information programs include informal discussions with public officials, school authorities, and other groups. Through liaison and appropriate communications with state and local health officials, the Radiological Safety Program is augmented by their interest and participation in the program in their respective communities. This state health official is observing the safety precautions used for measuring radiation levels at a test site in his state. Geiger counters, continuous recorders, air sampling units, and fallout trays. Where experimental tests are undertaken, continuous radiation recorders are operated in selected communities near the area. These recorders will measure the natural background radiation and are capable of automatically recording the time of arrival, intensity, and length of stay of any additional radiation. In other locations, monitoring teams collect exposed air filters periodically and send them to the off-site laboratory, where appropriate counters will indicate concentration of radioactive particles on the filters. Aircraft equipped with monitoring devices for radiological safety surveys are available and will be used as necessary to monitor up to a distance where the radiation is no longer detectable. In coordination with these aerial surveys, ground crews will make surveys in the area if the need arises. This is true if the community consists of only a few, or of hundreds or thousands of persons. Film badge stations are set up over a wide area. The film badges provide a cumulative record of external gamma radiation exposure. Exposed film badges are collected and replaced on a specific schedule. And records are kept of all radiation exposure. Other monitoring operations include the sampling of foods indigenous to the area, the sampling of soil in the vicinity, of milk produced in the area, of potable and other water supplies. At the Public Health Service Radiological Health Off-Site Laboratory, the environmental samples are prepared and counted for gross activity. Emphasis is given to water samples from underground sources. Radioanalysis is undertaken on an intensive basis for 1 year, with follow-up for 5 years. When indicated, samples are examined to determine specific isotopes, either by radiochemical separation or by gamma spectrometry. Several types of counting instruments are used for measuring radioisotopes. This gas flow counter automatically determines the radioactivity of each sample. Fallout trays are read for any radioactivity. Air filters are checked for radiation count. After the laboratory analyses comes the task of correlating and analyzing all data relating to each test. This comprehensive summation includes negative data associated with the operation and recommendations for future experiments. A public health service physician who is part of the Medical Liaison Officer Network is assigned to the Radiological Safety Organization. His primary function is to consult with local physicians and medical societies to answer any of their questions on the biomedical effects of radiation. At the Nevada test site, on a continuing basis, a veterinary officer is assigned to the radiological safety staff. He is available for consultation with private practicing veterinarians and farmers at other locations. His primary function is to advise local veterinarians and ranchers about the effects of radiation on livestock. An extensive animal study has been in progress for several years to provide data on the uptake of radioactive isotopes. In keeping with these studies, a test herd is allowed to forage at the Nevada test site in areas where there are known fission products. Animals of both sexes are sacrificed periodically. The thyroids are examined for the presence of iodine-131, bones for strontium-90 and plutonium, and muscles for cesium-137. Also, pathological examinations are made on selected specimens. Results to date show no significant gross effects or diseased conditions which suggest ill health or lowered resistance. The Public Health Service, in cooperation with the Atomic Energy Commission, guards the public health by continual and constant surveillance and by thorough assessment of possible hazards prior to the authorization of each test. All known preventive measures are used to restrict the radiation exposure to an absolute minimum. With the many safeguards and precautions taken in these program operations, it is unlikely that the public will be exposed to radiation levels greater than the protection guides recommended by the Federal Radiation Council. Through nuclear energy explorations, man will continue to learn more about this new source of energy and to apply it to an ever-broadening horizon. At the same time, the health and safety of people everywhere will be assured by a continuing realistic radiation surveillance program. Our future generations deserve a heritage of greater freedom from want and care, and confidence that nuclear energy will contribute to the establishment of universal peace.